Tonight on Smackdown's draft episode. Draft. Also Saudi. Hey, Saudi Draft YouTube. Are you ready for your Saudi draft? Because if you are, it's Saudi to draft.
Hey guys, it's the Insane Machine Cody Hawkins, and you're watching WGS-TV.
What's up, guys? I'm the Wrestle Gamer. Welcome back to WrestleDOWN right here on WGS-TV. That was a very unique intro, Ashley. Thank you very much for that. For those of you who don't know...
Well, it made sense, because that's all you had over the past 24 bloody hours.
Yeah, essentially, yes. Because earlier today, the WWE had a press conference concerning Crown Jewel, and I will say this: there was nothing really special about it, other than the fact that it was announced that Cain Velasquez has now signed a multi-year deal with WWE. So bye-bye UFC. But they just announced the two matches we already knew were going to happen at Crown Jewel: Braun Strowman and Tyson Fury.
The rumored matches,
and
it had to be officially announced. But they decided to do it in Vegas because they'll be accepting of Saudi blood money.
Yeah.
How at this rate, WWE, get the show sponsored by Blizzard. You'll be sorted.
Oh God. Anyway, tonight was the beginning with the draft, and with that, the wild card rule is now dead and buried. Thank you very much.
How?
Because after
this might flag on the play. Flag on the fucking play.
Referee, what's the call?
Personal foul, 69, offense. He was giving them the business. He played it down.
They've already said that the women's tag team division will not be specific to one brand. They'll have to go to other brands. So if we're ditching the wild card rule, how the shit do we do that?
I still think they're still going to have, under the premise for the women's tag team titles, that the champions appear on both brands, Raw and SmackDown, because they've said it multiple times already. If you think back to when they had the last title match with the Kabuki Warriors and Nikki Cross and Alexa, it was mentioned several times on commentary that the women's tag champions can appear.
They didn't mention it tonight, though, did they?
No,
they didn't mention it tonight.
Yeah,
they just
but
said
where
the
the
wild
women's
card rule is over.
I know, but
once you see those talent,
I say, were the women's tag team champions on the show tonight?
Yes.
No. Alexa and Kairi Sane were not there.
Who and Kairi?
Asuka.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't help that we're doing...
I hope I said Asuka and Kairi Sane the first time. I didn't, did I?
You said a name of a popular remote assistant. Okay, Google.
Okay, again, guys, remember, I am human. I am prone to making mistakes. I am not 100% perfect.
You're Kevin fucking Dunn.
Well, anyway, guys, with all that out of the way, let's talk about Friday Night SmackDown.
Saudi, draft, Saudi.
The opening match this week was Roman Reigns taking on the Universal Champion Seth Rollins, with the stipulation being that the winner's brand would get the first pick in the draft, with Reigns representing SmackDown and Rollins representing Raw. Now, for the opening moments, it was basically a feeling out process with Rollins and Reigns, but it wouldn't take very long until they started trading haymakers in the ring. At one point, Rollins would go for his tope suicida, but Reigns would counter it with a right hand. Rollins surprisingly stayed in the fight, even hitting the buckle bomb on Reigns, but the big dog immediately followed it up with a Superman punch, but was unable to pin Rollins for the win. So, would we get a clean finish for this? It's WWE. Of course not. Rollins was setting up for the stomp. The lights go out, and then the Fiend appeared through the ring with the mandible claw and dragged Rollins into the ring in a somewhat similar fashion to Undertaker or Kane when they did it over the years. And by lieu of the Fiend attacking, and by the way, they wouldn't make this announcement until like 5 minutes. In fact, they went to a commercial break, and then they made the announcement. But
let's do this like fucking CSI. What's the timeline of events? Steph gets dragged into hole. Lights go out, and it's like smoke comes out the bottom, and it's like, okay. Then Seth jumps out of hole. Why?
I don't know, but then you had the Fiend doing this.
Yeah. He was Vince McMahon WrestleMania 19 impression. Except it didn't work because it was in the middle of the bloody light being on the thing. So it just looked like some bloke going, oh, I'm gonna shag. And like, okay.
And they still played the sound, by the way, too.
They played the sound in like normal light. Then the lights went off, and then the sound played, and amp like looking, going, you know, you couldn't hear him, whatever. He was just there with his mask looking like.
And also, they need to start putting a seizure warning when Kevin Dunn likes to have that, with the lights flashing. You know, because there could be people that have epilepsy and they were watching SmackDown. Next thing you know, they would be going.
I hope eventually somewhere down this line somebody dies of an epileptic seizure and we can blame Kevin Dunn.
Yeah. So with that all out of the way, guys.
After all that and 3 minutes of adverts, and then after a replay from Cole and Corey. It's then Corey that informs us, technically, the decision is Seth won by DQ. And it's like, well, thanks for leaving us in. I was getting flashbacks to Hell in a Cell, and it's like, is it a DQ? Is it a stoppage? What the shit are we doing? Can somebody get me some drugs? Because I think I need them. Thank you.
Okay.
What's this? Oh shit, Roddy, put it away.
Oh god. So Raw gets the first pick, and the way that things worked were very similar to what they did when they had the first draft, when Mick Foley and Daniel Bryan took over as general manager of their respective brands. Monday Night Raw being a 3-hour show, they get 3 picks. With SmackDown being only a 2-hour show, they only get 2 picks. So the first round went like this, guys. For Raw, in the first round, they got Becky Lynch, the OC, the entire faction, and the injured Drew McIntyre. For SmackDown, they got Roman Reigns, go figure. But I think probably a little bit of a shocker here in the first round. Bray Wyatt.
Maybe. We'll get to that later. But on paper, you know, I really hope Bray does something stupid and Fox goes, yeah, we're training you back to Raw. We don't want you.
Well, up next, it was King Corbin taking on Shorty Gable. Yes, I know it's stupid, but WWE has actually name changed Chad Gable to Shorty Gable. Literally makes no sense. The match was still good regardless, but there are only so many times you can see the same match over and over again before it becomes stale and kind of repetitive. The usual spots were there, especially with Corbin on the outside with the chokeslam on the announcer's table to Gable. Gable connecting with the rolling German suplex and even locked on the ankle lock on Corbin, but Corbin kept countering and countering. Now Gable would attempt to take Corbin to his own version of Suplex City, but by the third attempt of a German, Gable would end up hurting his back and walked right into the end of days as Corbin picks up the win. However, Ashley, I still disagree with the name change. It's dumb.
You played Far Cry 3, haven't you?
4 and 5 and New Dawn.
Oh dear. He hasn't played the good one, everybody. You know what the definition of insanity is?
Yes. Oh, that. Okay. I know what you mean.
In the game, it's the same stuff.
Over
same
and over
shit
again.
happening over and over. The definition in WWE is 50-50 booking.
And when you have 50-50 booking, well, you always have to ask the question, who booked this crap? Well, anyway, we had our next round of draft picks, and round 2 for Raw has Randy Orton, Ricochet, and do I have to say it? Ash, can you say his name? I can't even summon the strength to say this person's name. Ash, please say his name.
The Black-Cocked Man, Bobby Lashley.
Thank you. I didn't have to say his name. And on SmackDown, in round 2, got Sasha Banks, and I think another surpriser here, in my opinion, is Braun Strowman. What do you think about that move, Ash?
Yeah. Left field, but I guess, I honestly think it's just there because Fury. Because SmackDown is the sports brand.
Yeah, and think about that for a second, too.
As soon as the Tyson Fury story...
Wait,
as soon as the Tyson story's over for Crown Jewel, I wouldn't be surprised if he went back. Because in these weird vignettes that we had throughout the night, they were having the bits from, like, the Fox NFL people and, like, the person that did one of the analysis things or whatever. And they were sort of implying that if this is going to be like, if this is like the NFL drafts, which they were heavily implying, then expect trades to come at some point. When somebody really wants a superstar, maybe they'll give up 2 or 3 superstars as a trade to get a big name, like you get in Spurs.
Yep. So
I wouldn't be surprised if Braun went to Raw when the Tyson Fury thing over and done with.
Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman were out there next to basically cut a promo about how Brock doesn't run away from fear. He embraces it and brought up how he was beaten by Cain Velasquez in the UFC back in 2010, but he was looking forward to their confrontation at Crown Jewel because he would conquer him. Out comes Rey Mysterio and Velasquez, who basically said, come Crown Jewel, he was going to give Brock Lesnar a matching scar on the other side of his face. And that was pretty much it. What else can we say is other than
Saudi? Heyman did a good thing. Although it is worth noting, Vince said, we're not going to use blood and guts on our product. Cue giant picture of a bloody giant cut on bloody Brock Sheik from UFC. So, great job there. And also, Velasquez's promo was like, I beat you at Crown Jewel. He came all the way for that. Jesus, give him a fucking Brussels sprout.
either that
What
or
the shit is that?
either that or let Rey Mysterio talk for him. I mean,
No, because remember, like, Kane is fucking Dominic's godfather. Is that in the sense of Marlon Brando, in which he's got oranges in his mouth? I don't know.
Anyway, after the New Day helped celebrate some breast cancer survivors, they would be in a 6-man tag team match against the OC. And to be honest, not much to talk about here. And to me, the match just felt rushed to me because it felt like they didn't give them enough time to at least tell a somewhat decent story when it comes to doing stuff in the ring. Styles would attempt the phenomenal forearm on Kofi, only for him to duck out of the way and connect with the SOS, but couldn't keep Styles down for the count. The finish of the match was Kofi connecting with the Trouble in Paradise on Styles to pick up the win. So basically, Kofi pins the United States Champion in a 6-man tag team match. Way to make one of your secondary championships look weak, WWE. Smart booking right there. Smart booking. Just make your
Kofi
United States
versus
champ.
AJ.
Yeah,
Book it.
yeah. So let's pitch this scenario to you guys, okay? Come Monday Night Raw, if the Intercontinental Champion Shinsuke Nakamura is drafted to Raw, then scenario that actually just brought up with Saudi, AJ Styles, and Kofi Kingston more than likely would come to fruition, because you can't have a SmackDown show and not have a secondary championship. You can't have, in my personal opinion, 2 secondary championships on one show. You got to have one secondary championship on one show and the other on the other show. So that way it kind of balances everything out. It's like saying you want to have the Universal Champion and the WWE Championship on one show and leave the other show without a head title. That's kind of what I'm saying here, guys. So if that happens, then WWE more than likely will make that to come to fruition. You get what I'm talking about there, Ash, right? You got to have a little yin and yang here. You got to have a little balance.
Yeah, for sure. It's just I'm looking at some of these things and I'm going, the numbers don't lie, and I suppose disaster for you at sacrifice.
Jeez. Well, that might be a future sound clip that's coming here to the channel. Anyway, round 3 of the draft for Raw. They have Alexa Bliss, Kevin Owens, which is interesting, and Natalya. Okay. And for SmackDown, they get Lacey Evans. Goodbye and good riddance. And the SmackDown, which makes sense, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Revival. Oh, Lord, they would really fuck up the Revival and put them on Raw and still keep the SmackDown Tag Team titles on them. Smart booking, WWE, for once. I'll give them credit. But we would immediately get a 4th round. And for
The
Raw,
final round
of the night, for Raw, they have the Viking Raiders, Nikki Cross, and the Street Profits. Street Profits are now main roster, and they are now a Raw brand. And on SmackDown, and if you think about it for a second, it makes sense because of a certain show that follows SmackDown Live, Friday Night SmackDown now. Lucha House Party. 205 Live is on Fridays now, guys. Think about that. And
oh, well, it was this week. It wasn't last week, so we...
yeah. And Heavy Machinery. So, given the list of what we have so far, Ash, who are the... And they did make this announcement that whoever went undrafted would become free agents, and they would have the choice of choosing which brand they would want to go to. Who are those people that got left, Ash?
So the people that have been left behind are nothing to do with booby loosely. Hang on if I can find it. There we go. We have Cesaro, GSXT, Humberto Carrillo. Why isn't he just on 205? Akira Tozawa, he was on 205 Live. Sin Cara, he's been on TV for months, so why didn't you put him on the injured list like Elias and Young Free? Drew Gulak, again, saw him tonight. B-Team, and Tamina.
So, and they would
In
also...
terms of when we find out, who don't know.
Well, guys, it's time for the main event. The SmackDown Women's Championship on the line as Charlotte Flair defended the title against the former champion Bayley. Two things I want to bring up here before we get to the actual match. WWE did away with the automatic rematches for champions who lose their titles. So how did Bayley get one? Anybody know? Anybody have an answer to that question? Okay, I figured. Secondly, this wasn't the fun-loving, I'm going to hug you Bayley. She cut her hair, her smile is gone, and she fucking murdered the Bayley buddies.
And when she did all this, it got cheered.
Exactly.
Do you see what you've done, Vince? Do you see what you've done, Eric? You've created Becky Lynch 2.0, and you're stupid because of it.
I'm guessing fans cheered
fool.
this because they wanted Bayley to embrace a heel persona, and technically, tonight, WWE gave them what they wanted.
Yes, she's been heel for 2 months ever since she joined Sasha, roughly, maybe.
But never
Or
really...
maybe about... I don't know.
But never really embraced an aggressive
like,
nature for it.
Yeah. It was just like, well, that's just stupid.
Now with
So
Bayley...
I only noticed the haircut last because she took the hood down. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, I figured something was up with that too when she came out wearing a hoodie, because she's never... In the time I've seen her in WWE, and that even goes back to her NXT days, she's never had a hoodie on for her entrance. She's always had just like a jacket or a shirt of some kind. Never a hoodie. So when I saw that, I looked at it and said, okay, that's new, that's different. WWE's done something completely different here. She was standing there, then she stopped smiling, the music cut off, the hands went down, then she revealed the new hair, and then proceeded to fucking murderize the Bayley buddies. So, I'm really intrigued now. Even though there may be some people who don't want to give this a chance, Rick, pull your head out of your ass. But now, with Bayley's new attitude, came with a new aggressive style, which was on display for this match, to say the least. Now, I'm not sure at what point Charlotte started bleeding from the face, or where it was exactly. I suspect it might have been the nose, because the blood on her face was as clear as day, not to mention also the fact that the referee had his gloves on. Now, Charlotte's moonsault off this security railing was nicely done, but they were selling it like it hit Bayley in the jaw, and I went back on the replay and I didn't see it. I don't know what else to say. Now, another thing to think about. Bayley would connect with the Bayley to belly on Charlotte, but couldn't pin her, which has been her signature move for a very long time in WWE. She also tried the top rope elbow drop on Charlotte, but couldn't pin her after that move either. Makes me kind of wonder if we might see a new signature move out of Bayley in the coming weeks. Bayley was arguing with the referee when Charlotte connected with the natural selection and was going for the figure eight when Bayley grabbed 2 handfuls of Charlotte's hair and rolled her up with an inside cradle to pick up the win and become the new SmackDown Women's Champion. So Charlotte Flair's 10th reign as a champion in WWE didn't even last a full week. Bayley would get on the mic, and this is how they ended the show, called everyone a bitch, and that they could all shove it. Ash, I gotta ask you, reactions to Bayley's new attitude?
I love it. I'm supposed to be like, boo, and it's like, but no. You've literally done... It's... In essence, what they did with Becky and what they've done with Bayley is what should have happened with Cena. For him, every time what does Cena keep teasing the heel turn? Becky did it. People cheered. Bayley's doing it. People are gonna keep cheering. It's gonna be the same. It's gonna be exactly the same thing. Bayley is gonna get cheered every time, and it's somehow gonna morph into basically her being the badass that don't take no shit anymore. If Cena did it, he would get cheered. He wouldn't get booed because he'd be a heel. He'd get cheered because all of a sudden, we wanted to see him be the villain because we're sick of seeing him as the hero. That's the problem that they've now done with Bayley, because she's been pigeonholed for the last 5-6 years as a babyface.
The same argument could be made for Roman Reigns as well. That people were tired of seeing him pigeonholed as a babyface, and they want to see something different from him. Yes,
but the thing that changed all that was the cancer diagnosis.
Yeah,
that is the shadow over that, which you can't really do a comparison. Nope. But it's just like with Stone Cold. I think this is going to backfire because WWE don't realize that they need to do heel stuff with people that actually, people want to hate. And I don't mean Corbin, because people just hate him because they do. Not because of his character.
Well, one thing to not hate, overall score and thoughts.
Oh, no. Right. Flag on the play. We're not flag on the play. But what I'm trying to say is, I need to bring this up before we get to overscore.
Okay. All right.
Overall score.
Okay.
Big ass fucking points. 1. The war rooms. The motherfucking war rooms. Fox's war room has the fucking bloke dressed as the robot. Raw's war room has somebody painted up with like Stardust face paint or whatever it was. If you look back, there's somebody with literal Dallas Cowboy star on their face or something.
I thought he was painted like the Warrior.
I can't remember. Or something. His face was painted, which I don't get. And then it's like, let's get shots of the war rooms of their reactions because this is like the NFL, and it was just like,
yeah. And they also had that too.
Go ahead.
Well, anyway, let's get to it.
Second point, and this is important. Billy, you might have to say names here that you don't want to name. i.e. the black guy. Not because he's black, but just because the character that he is shit right now.
Booby loosely?
That's close enough. Right. So there was a press release that was put out yesterday explaining the whole deal of a draft and how it was going. And then, of course, how some of the talents are only listed to be on eligible for picking tonight and eligible for picking for Raw on Monday. So I'm going to go through this list, and Billy's going to go through his list of numbers 1 through 20, shall we say, of who got drafted, and see if you notice anything fucking lazy about this. So, who was the number 1, Billy?
Becky Lynch.
Number 1, Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch. Number 2,
Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns. Number 3,
The OC.
The OC. Number 4,
Bray Wyatt.
Ditto. Number 5,
Drew McIntyre.
Ditto. Number 6.
Randy Orton.
Other Pokemon. 7.
Sasha Banks.
Ponyta. Number 8.
Ricochet.
Pikachu. Number 9.
Strowman.
Mewtwo. Number 10.
Booby Loosely.
Bulbasaur. Number 11.
Alexa.
See, on my list, it's Bliss and Nikki Cross. So we'll keep going to see where it goes. Number 12.
Lacey Evans.
Charmander. Number 13.
Kevin Owens.
You see, that was the Viking Raiders. That it sort of ruins it a bit more. Number 14.
The Revival.
Weedle. Number 15.
Natalia.
Electrobuzz. Number 16.
Well, Viking Raiders.
Street Profits. Number 17.
Lucha House Party.
Hitmonlee. Number 18.
Nikki Cross.
So if they were presented as a duo, why weren't they picked up as a duo? Oh wait, it's because there was 29 people in the list. They said there was 30. Did they fuck up? 19.
Heavy Machinery.
Who weren't even in this list. Hang on, I need to verify. Yeah, Heavy Machinery was supposed to be drafted on Raw. What? And then number 20,
The Street Profits.
Humberto Carrillo. Do you see what I'm trying to say? WWE, in their press release, pretty much told you the first, let's say, well, there are similarities up to number 17.
Mm-hmm. We'll let everyone...
With number 19 and somebody else that was supposed to be drafted only on another brand. So, yes, rather than sort of mix it up and try and make it look thing, they literally... It was as if Stephanie was there reading the fucking... Pucking, that's a new word. reading the fucking press release that they put out rather than actually come. No wonder the bloody fake reactions in the war rooms. Just like, yeah, but we knew this yesterday. Yeah.
Okay. So,
Fuck this company.
So,
Now it's overall score. Yeah, fuck.
overall score and thoughts. This was a unique start to the WWE Draft for Friday Night SmackDown. Personally, I think the two war rooms they have for Raw and SmackDown were ridiculous. And at one point, I thought the Fox NFL robot was CGI'd there, or they had him with augmented reality, but there was someone actually dressed as the robot. Rollins and Reigns was a good start, but now people are calling the Fiend a cheap Undertaker knockoff. I don't know if I agree with that. With some of the draft picks, people stayed where I thought they were going to stay, but there were some shakeups, but not much. His name is Chad Gable, thank you very much, Kevin. New Day and OC, too rushed for my liking. And why make the United States Championship look weak? Rip the Bailey buddies, pun definitely intended. And I think people should give the new heel attitude of Bailey a chance to develop before rushing to judgment, Rick. With that being said, I still want a hug from her regardless. Overall score of Friday Night SmackDown gets a 3 out of 5, with the best match of the night going to the SmackDown Women's Championship match with worst segment going to whenever they went to the supposed war rooms for Raw and SmackDown. Those reactions, well, Ash pretty much had that covered. Ash, overall score and thoughts?
That's where this gets. A big dick out of dicks. It's... Let's do it in a sporting thing. So let's have the war rooms and whatever be as fake as all shit. Have Stephanie be the only one to come out to make the announcements when...
Oh, did you notice when she said it when she first came out about the crowd not booing her?
Oh, of course. Because, you know, they haven't seen her in a while. If you don't count her showing up at the start of, you know,
SmackDown
last week, introducing us to it and everything. Because she's been away and not interfering. People are like, it's good to see you. Rather than being forced down the throat and people giving a shit. But maybe you're doing that on purpose. Because... So... You know, I always like getting... It's twice a year now. I just randomly shout Saudi. It's like bloody PTSD. It's just like... But, you know, on top of the fact that the Raw draft was basically what was already put out in press release, and they didn't even bother to try and mix it up, is lazy. Wait, was it a DQ? No, it was actually a DQ. We're not trying to screw it up anymore. Finish the 50-50 booking with Gable and Corbin. The seemingly, as you say, rushed 6-man, but that's because, you know, drafts and adverts, and we need all these vox pops from, like, oh, you know who I'd have as my number one pick? Dusty Rhodes. He's dead. No, my number one pick would be Bruno Sammartino. He's dead. Oh, well, my number one pick would be Ric Flair. Thankfully not dead. My number one pick would be Andre the Giant. He's dead too. My number one pick would be Hulk Hogan. His career's dead. Brother. Yeah, we needed that. We needed that for 40 seconds to a minute. Which all sadly sort of gets forgotten about. Oh, sorry. That it means that we forget about the actual awesome Bayley thing that happened, and Eric and WWE being misguided and think, oh, they're gonna want to boo Bayley now. It's like, no. Anti-heroes are popular right now. There's a film called fucking Joker that people are apparently enjoying. I ain't seen it yet.
Neither have I.
You know, Deadpool is arguably not a hero. There was, you know, the last box office record for October was Venom. He isn't a hero. People do like anti-heroes in their stuff, not just out and out heroes, you know. They like that little bit of grey and all that. So the bit of Gray and Bayley is something that we've been yearning for months, if not years. Now we're getting it. We're supposed to boo. We are not.
I think we also should mention one last time, that Troy Aikman, former Dallas Cowboy quarterback, former Hall of Famer for the NFL, was asked by Joe Buck, who was also an NFL announcer, that if he was a wrestler, what his finishing move would be. I think he needed to have a little point of clarification, because he said pile driver, but the only clips they showed in that segment were Undertaker doing the tombstone pile driver. There is a distinct difference between the tombstone pile driver and the traditional pile driver in a sense. So maybe I'm nitpicking here a little bit, but I just figured, you know, that'd be something to bring up as well.
True, but what I'm trying to say is, I don't know whether the sports angle is working. I cannot wait to see what happens with the ratings, because let me just have a quick look. ML, because this could be a factor. I know the baseball doesn't start till... Oh no! The baseball did start tonight. Oof. I didn't realise that. Awkward. So I'm hoping more people still... I'm wondering what the drop is going to be. Admittedly, it wasn't like the match with the Yankees in. However, oh no, they're actually doubly lucky. Next Friday's game is going to be, if necessary, the match that happened today, because that's game 6 and today's was game 1. So I'm guessing that's going to be number 1 in the ratings. I don't know what station it was on, because I do not follow the balls of the bases.
Neither do I.
I follow basketball. Basketball.
Well, anyway, guys. Go ahead. Anything else?
Trying to think if there was something. Oh, just a quick mention. 205 Live actually did happen. Araya Davari, or Davari De Niro, like he was calling himself. Does he think he's the Pope? D'Angelo De Niro? The shit's going on there. The guys with the biggest fingers in the world, Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch, beat Drew Gulak and Tony Nese. Okay, I forgot to mention, Jobber lost to Davari. That was in between these two. And then the street fight between Tozawa and Kendrick ended with Mike Kanellis getting involved and now aligning himself with Kendrick. Because apparently that was necessary. Huh? Although full credit to Aiden English and Tom Phillips on they did a good job.
Yes, definitely. So with that being said, guys, what we want to know from you guys out there, the viewers and subscribers, your thoughts on Friday Night SmackDown. What are your overall score? What are your thoughts on Friday Night SmackDown? What are your thoughts about the draft picks so far? We definitely want to hear what you guys have to say. Be sure you put your comments in the comment section below. And for anyone who does leave a comment on this week's review, we will read it out loud on next week's Friday Night SmackDown review. And also, guys, if you like this video, be sure you slam that like button. Like a champ, and if you guys want to see more of WrestleDOWN right here on WGS-TV, you know the 2 ways. I said 2 ways. I said 2 ways to do it. You got to leg drop the subscribe button and hit that bell icon to turn on notifications. That way you guys will never miss out on another video right here on my channel. So with my thanks to the Studley Man Ashley, I'm your friendly neighborhood Wrestle Gamer, reminding all of you guys out there to just stay awesome. Bye, guys!
And Kane versus Brock isn't even a title match.